operates without us.
Right. I think it's a really good point. Something that a lot of people don't realize, that when they're creating these businesses, you're creating an asset that's valuable to people that other people will buy. Even if you just have like a few products making, just a few $1,000s a month, this is like a very real asset that's worth a lot of money. We've had on the past, some of the guys from like Empire Flippers or other people selling these businesses. And I think it's even like a very hot market right now to, for on both sides, buyer side and sell side for these businesses. So yeah, I'm excited for today's session. Let's go ahead and dive into it.
Sure, man. I wanted to go ahead and share my screen if that's okay.
That sounds fantastic.
All right. So what we're going to be talking about today is how to turn your private label expertise into a sellable asset. And, what does that actually mean? So if I said you could start with no product idea and have a bestseller on Amazon in 30 days or less, and you could do it without a launch, would you believe me? And most people, I think that's a resounding no. What if I told you to be completely automated into a process that generates cash flow and builds up equity over time into sellable assets? Not only are both of those things possible, in this webinar, we're going to show you exactly how you can get started doing them as early as tomorrow. And if you hang on until the end, I'm going to go through and show you how Jungle Scout makes this process insanely easy. We talked about it a little bit already, but who the heck am I? My name's Dan Metters. I'm the better looking one on the left here. My business partner, and I own an Amazon business that's generated over $12 million in sales in the last 2 years alone, doing exactly what we're going to show you about today. The favorite thing about our business currently is that we only work on it 1 hour a week. Now, that 1 hour is not spent packing boxes or doing anything like that. That 1 hour is literally spent in a meeting with our employees. We aren't slaves to our business. And it's kind of awkward, but we're not even really like CEOs. We're more like shareholders or a board of directors. And all of it's possible because of the simplicity of the business model. Now, what a lot of people don't really realize is the more simple you make your business model, the easier it is to outsource or automate. And I think, I know you've grown a significant business as well, Greg, and I bet it's probably on the same principles, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So the second part of this is my second most favorite part is this is an actual sellable asset. It's something that we could sell at any time, and our business is a sellable asset because it runs and grows without us. Like, that's one of the more difficult thing that people don't understand is you can build a business that's incredibly profitable, but if it's centered around you, it's very hard to sell. Like, you can never really get rid of it because you're getting rid of the talent that runs the business, right? So what we wanted to do is we wanted to create a business that would run and grow without us. Now, the important distinction is it's, like I said, a sellable asset. The business is a sellable asset. It's not our brand or product. While brands and products can be sellable assets too, it's much more profitable to sell a business as opposed to just a brand or a product. So let's role play a little bit, Greg. Imagine that you're an investor. What would you rather buy? Would you rather buy the rights to my brand over and take over the day-to-day selling operations for those products? Or would you rather buy a business that runs itself where you're the owner and nothing more?
I think the latter one's a no-brainer as well. While both of them are probably sellable assets, buying a business that runs itself would probably have a much higher multiple.
Sure. And that's what, that's what we're talking about as well is how could I build a business that has a higher multiple and doesn't require me to run it? Like that's what we're trying to accomplish and what we've tried to accomplish over the past year. And I think we've done pretty good at it. So my goal here today is to help change people's mindset about how they can start making money or more money. Yes, they're going to want to build a brand, but if you want to build a business around that brand, you're going to double or more the value of your business. So let's get started doubling your business. It's not just about selling your own product. You can incorporate selling other people's products into your business. And by doing so, selling other people's products in your business, you can significantly increase the value of your business. That's because selling other people's products adds diversifications to your business, but it can also be done as a repeatable and outsourceable process while adding assets to your business. So what I mean by that is as our business grows, it's not us in here doing it. what we've done is we've came up with a system that allows us to outsource this to employees and virtual assistants and things like that in a really simple manner where it continues to grow without us. So how do you actually do this? It's a really simple process we call wholesale, and we're going to break it down step by step. Step number one is identify the best-selling products on Amazon. What we're talking about are products that are selling hundreds or thousands of times every month. And it turns out that Jungle Scout makes this incredibly easy. Now, I'll be honest, Greg, I have a lot of bias with Jungle Scout. It is easily the tool that has made us the most money of any of the tools that we use. And it's not close because it really makes getting down and finding these types of products incredibly easy. And that's what's helped turn this into a repeatable process for us. So step two is we reach out to brand owners directly and get their approval to be an Amazon retailer of their products. And then we buy those direct at wholesale prices. And then step number three is really simple. You just sell those products for a profit, right? Like once you have those products, you just sell them for a profit. And you can automate all three of these steps is what's actually awesome. Now, let's kick this up a notch. If you get really good at this, brands are willing to sign contracts that can make you the exclusive seller and Amazon retailer of their products. This means that you're the only one allowed to sell those goods on Amazon. These contracts are an asset. When an established brand gives you an exclusive rights to sell their products on the world's largest marketplace, it's incredibly valuable. It's predictable, and it's defined revenue and profit. Investors absolutely love this. And this is one of the things that we've started doing in our business a lot is we've went away from just sourcing millions and millions and millions of products down to we are trying to develop real relationships with brands and get those exclusive contracts because it makes your income and it makes your cash flow a lot more predictable, right? And not only that, it's just you're the only person that can sell this brand. So it gives you the freedom of like a private label style, but you're not having to build that brand. You're able to operate with using their keywords and their the brand that they've already put together, which is really awesome. So, two big questions I usually get when I explain this to someone are, why don't these brands sell their own products themselves on Amazon, and why would they let me sell those products on Amazon? And I think that's a really good question, but it's not painfully obvious, but when you think about it, the vast majority of brands don't retail their products. They allow people to sell them. Like you go into Walmart, you don't go into the Pepsi store. You don't go into the Procter & Gamble store. You don't go into the Johnson & Johnson store. And there's, the majority of companies are like this. It's not just those companies. And in fact, I think it's far more rare that companies actually want to sell their products. So what these companies actually want is they want you to have an expert Amazon seller who handles the sale of their products on Amazon. A lot of these places don't want to learn how to sell that product, and that's not their expertise. Like manufacturers are typically good at manufacturing. They don't want to be a marketer. They don't want to be a retailer. So they need somebody that understands how to create great listings. And they need somebody who understands the nuances of things like sponsored ads, product reviews, and ranking a product. Now, here's a question. Does this sound like you? And the answer is yes. Like anybody watching this webinar, anybody that follows Greg and Jungle Scout or a private label in general, this is you guys. Like you guys are great at this. You guys are great at running sponsored ads. You guys are great at launches, product reviews, ranking products. Like that's what these companies are looking for. These companies are looking for people with those particular skills, and there's a reason for it. And it's traditional retail is dying. Every year, there are more and more people buying things online instead of going into stores. And we've all seen this, like Sears and Kmart, like the massive closures, Radio Shack. Like, it's pretty funny because I'm pretty sure I could ask my daughter right now, what is Radio Shack? And she would have no idea. And that's hard to believe because, like, when I was growing up, Radio Shack was a big deal. I mean, same with you, right, brother?
Yeah, and that's so true. I don't even know if there's any Radio Shacks left.
Yeah, I don't either. It's like I've not seen one in so long. I don't think there are any that exist. Maybe there are, but that's the thing is retail is dying, and Amazon becomes a more and more important platform. right? Like the more important this platform is, why is this platform important? It is right now, I believe it's 35 or 40% or something like that of all product searches are starting on Amazon. And when you think about that, like effectively, that's a brand's window to the world. They need their products to be crisp. They need their listings to be crisp. They need their, to have all of their images. They need to have the right keywords. They need to be ranking for keywords. Like all of these things that people are doing for private label products, these brands desperately need. So I want to actually take a look at an example so I can make this real for you guys. Okay, so let's look at an example. I want to make this real for you guys. What we're looking at is Dominique's U.S. Senate bean soup. Now, I don't even know what Senate bean soup is. I have no idea. But so there are 3 sellers on this product, and we see that it does about $2,800 a month, according to Jungle Scout. So I looked into it a bit. The Dominique's brand is owned by a company called World's Finer Foods. Here's the kicker. World's Finer Foods is a $100 million company, and they've been around since the 70s, well before Amazon existed, right? So this company's huge, and even though I've never heard of this brand before, apparently it's in stores all over America. So this is like a real brand that has a following and things like that. And this product's already doing about $2,800 a month. But here's the thing. It should be doing way better than that. Now, Greg, you guys are amazing with private label, right? How do these pictures stack up to what you guys would put on your private label products?
Yeah, they're pretty terrible, right?
Right. I mean, they're not exciting. There's no action shots. There's nothing here that is here to sell that product. It's just bland pictures.
Yeah, and you probably wouldn't even really realize there's a 12-pack unless you look real closely at that little thing at the top right? I would show like a pack of actually 12 of them, and you can do a lot of things to improve that.
I mean, and that's the other thing. What does the soup look like? Like I don't even know what Senate bean soup is. I have no idea.
Right.
So I mean, there's a lot of things that could be fixed about this product. Where are the bullets? Like there's not, I mean, that's what I'm saying is like this product is selling $2,800 a month and it doesn't have the pictures are terrible. There's no bullets. Let's look at this description. Wait, there's not a description. Like, I mean, that's what I'm saying is there's so many products on Amazon that are just so poorly represented that are making massive money, right? Like you could turn this, like, I don't think anybody would disagree that if you fix the problems with this product that it would sell better. Like if it's already selling $2,800 a month, you fix these problems and it could easily sell $4,000 a month and you could be splitting those sales with 2 other sellers at the worst. So, that's one of the things about it is you guys that are watching this know how to fix that. You know how you could take this product and make it so much better. So, but here's the thing. Dominique's U.S. Senate bean soup has no idea. They don't know how they could sell more product. That's exactly why they need you. And that's exactly why they would be willing to let you be their Amazon seller, right? Or their authorized retailer. And it's as simple as that. What they're doing is they're looking to give you these contracts to sell their products on Amazon, right? They want you to sell these products on Amazon so they don't have to look at this. They don't have to look at products with terrible pictures. They don't have to look at products with bad bullets or no bullets. This one didn't even have bullets. Bad bullets would have been a step up. So, I mean, that's what we're looking at.
A lot of these companies, I think, probably don't even know, like a company like this, they probably don't even know about like FBA. They probably just think like, okay, well, like Amazon hasn't bought our product or Amazon hasn't made a very good listing for us. They probably aren't even educated enough to understand that it could be improved. That's what I found like with a lot of these big companies, which is pretty shocking when this is like, especially in the future, is going to be a huge portion of their business.
Exactly. I mean, you're spot on right there. It's, a lot of these companies don't even know this is happening, and they certainly don't know how to fix it. And they don't want to be trouble with fixing it. Like, and now if you think if you approach Dominique's and said, hey, you could sell more bean soup on Amazon if you made your listing better, that sounds like something they would be interested in. No, it's not what they're doing. They're busy making awesome bean soup that people around the world love. Like that's what they're great at, and that's what they try to do. But you're probably thinking, Dan, sharing the buy box is scary. Here's the thing is it really isn't. The buy box is mostly determined by selling price. If everyone is selling at the same price, sales are split pretty evenly.
Hey, Dan, can you tell us real quick what the buy box is? It looks like some people don't know.
Oh, that's awesome. I mean, let me go back. I'll just go back to this listing that we were on. Okay, so here's the buy box. Now, the buy box is where somebody, if I click this button, add to cart, whoever is in the buy box, the seller that has control of that buy box, currently it is since 1901, would get attributed to that sale. So more than 85% of sales happen in the buy box. So it's a really important position. Now, whenever you're a private label, you get all of the sales. You're always in the buy box, right? Now, that changes whenever you're not a private label seller or you don't have an exclusive. And if you're sharing the buy box with other sellers, like that's what we're talking about is people are probably thinking, God, man, that is super scary. Like, I don't want to be sharing the buy box. Like, I don't know how many items I'll sell and things like that. But it really isn't that scary. Like I said, it's mostly determined by selling price. And if everyone sells at the same price, we're splitting it pretty evenly. But if you provide real value to these brands with all of your Amazon knowledge, you're likely to get better pricing than anybody else. Like if I went to Dominique's and shown them the problems with that listing, and I was like, hey, you know, I'm happy to invest the time into fixing this. Do you think that it's possible that they would want to give me a better price? Of course. Of course they want to give me a better price. This is a problem that they don't have to deal with. So you can get a price that no one else has and won't be able to compete with you, or you can get them to sign an exclusivity agreement and be the only seller for that product possibly. So here's another thing that people run into, and it's really common with the private label community is, but Dan, you can't change other people's listings. Now, that's not true at all. It's just a huge myth. It's actually really easy to fix and make changes to any listing. All you have to do is go through Seller Central and create a case to do it and provide proof that change is going to be a real change that benefits the listing. Once you do that, it's incredibly easy. So it doesn't matter if you created the listing or not, you can make a change. So the next thing you probably heard is wholesale margins are super small. And it's another myth. Wholesale margins can be as high as 50 or 100%. And yeah, it's more common that they're 10 or 15%, but let's think about it. If all you have to do is send an email or make a phone call to put in your order and the brand ships that product to Amazon and you get sales, 15% margin seems pretty fine for me, right? I don't know how you would feel about that, Greg, but if I don't have to do any work and I just have that product shipped to Amazon, are you okay with a 15% margin?
Yeah. That's solid.
For sure. And it's, if I had to prep and things like that, yeah, absolutely not. I mean, that's not what we're trying to do. But if you can have those products just sent to the warehouse, fantastic. So that's because the thing is any contract you sign here can be a massive asset to your company. These products have a history of sales, so you can project profitability, and you can be the only retailer of these types of products. And that's what an asset is. Like that's the asset that, you don't have to own that product. You can just have an agreement. That agreement is the asset. So the next, a lot of people probably have probably heard of this, but haven't really thought about what it is. It's So this guy's name is Josh Neblett, and he owned his own Amazon business, primarily selling a mixture of his own branded products and other people's products in the same fashion that we've discussed today. In 2015, Josh sold that business for $75 million to FYE. And yeah, I'm going to repeat that, $75 million. So the story we're talking about right here is E-Tails, and you probably heard of them. You probably still see them on Amazon. Now, the interesting thing about E-Tails is they started out as a smaller private label company and then moved into just being a retail company for other people. Like if you look, you're going to see E-Tails on thousands of listings. But I think that goes to show that, you don't have to just build a brand around your product to have a sellable asset. Same concept with Amazon. Like Amazon, they do make their own products, but they're a retailer. This is the same concept, and that's what we're really talking about is how we can be a retailer for other companies. All right, so I'm going to go through and recap some of the benefits of wholesale. So what we've already talked about and some of the things that we've not talked about. After I go through, I'm going to show you how you can find some of these awesome opportunities yourself in just a matter of minutes. Like that's the awesome part about this, in my opinion, is it doesn't take a ton of time. Like Jungle Scout makes this sourcing method so fast. And I think it's crazy that like you guys came up with this as a as a private label as primarily as like a private label software, but it works so well for wholesale. It's like, it really does. I think it really goes to show that how similar that type of research is. So, some of the benefits are wholesale is very fast to market. You can go from sitting down at your computer, sourcing products, to finding one, to selling it on Amazon. And I was going to say 30 days or less, but honestly, you can have that product shipped to you within 4 or 5 days and be, have that product being shipped to Amazon and be live in 2 weeks or less. To me, that's just crazy. Like, you don't have to import the product. You don't have to go through customs, do all that stuff. You're just buying products, having them shipped to Amazon, and start selling them extremely quickly. You don't have to create your brand. You don't have to do any of that kind of stuff. With wholesale, you just have to place that order and get the product to Amazon. And then, speaking of shipping it in, with wholesale, you don't necessarily have to touch, prep, or even see the products that you sell. Many brands you work with are just going to be able to ship those direct to Amazon for you, or you can have prep centers receive them, prep, and send those products to the FBA facilities for you as well. And that's one of the great things is this type of business can be run from a laptop. Now, in terms of investment costs are really low. Like, I think that's just for the majority of the majority of business models on Amazon, that's true. Like, in general, creating an Amazon business is so much cheaper than creating a traditional business, but wholesale is even cheaper. Like, the minimum investment to do wholesale, what we suggest is generally about $2,000. Think about it. Like, you're able to buy products that have a sales history and already sustained demand for $2,000 and get started. Like, to me, as far as a business model, that's insane. Like, being able to get started at that level. Now, the same is true, for me, the same is true for private label. Amazon just provides us all with an incredible opportunity to sell products and create a business for relatively no cost. So, in the same line with wholesale, the risk is so low because you're buying products that have a built-in sustained demand. So your investment's actually pretty safe. Like, typically, the worst case scenario that we've seen is you have to take a loss of 5 to 10% on something, and you just don't rebuy it, right? Like, if a product's no longer good, you don't have to rebuy that product. So that's I think, to me, that's like a massive for people that are getting into this business. I think that's a massive benefit right there, that they don't just have to hope they get it right. Like, you can get it wrong and still not lose very much money. So, like we mentioned earlier, signed contracts, retail products, and exclusive agreements are all massive assets. These are all massive assets. And the thing is you can acquire these assets in an outsourced or automated fashion. Like, we're not the ones setting up these accounts. We're not setting up accounts with these companies. Instead, our employees are, our virtual assistants are, and we're using tools like Jungle Scout to find these products. So everything about this business model can be automated or outsourced. And then one of the last things is, and this one, it's funny. I wish, I don't know if you can actually see my face right now. I literally started smiling when I started thinking of this one. And it's, it only takes one good account. And, as an example for this, I don't want to tell about one of the ones that we found. Instead, I want to use examples from our students. We had one of our students, Emmerich Manello. He has a wholesale account that generates over $100,000 a year in profit. That's profit. That's not revenue. And it's just from one account. And the same thing, Cheryl Brightman, she had a single account that generates over $200,000 a year in profit. And
And Dan, by one account, you mean that's just like one relationship with a wholesaler?
Exactly. It's not, cool. This is not a distributor. This is one brand that they've built relationships with.
Awesome.
I mean, to me, that sounds, I'm being serious. That just sounds crazy that you can generate that much profit and that much sales from one account. But that's the thing about Amazon. The marketplace is so big and so massive that if you just find the right product, it can be more than a full-time income. So, and I think it goes without saying, these results aren't necessarily typical. And not every wholesale account you find out turns out to be this amazing, but they are out there. That's the point, is these accounts are out there. They're up for grabs. And like I mentioned earlier, as retail moves more online, more of these types of opportunities are going to present themselves. Like more people coming online means more demand online. It means more products, more brands all coming online. And when that happens, that presents more opportunity. So, as exciting as this is, I think it's going to continue to be the case. You're just going to see these awesome accounts. And these products may not even exist right now on Amazon. Amazon is growing, and I think that's one of the primary reasons it's awesome to be a part of. It's awesome to be built around Amazon. Is Amazon's growing so much. Like the marketplace is changing so much. There's so many sellers there's so many sellers. There's so many brands. There's so many customers. Like everything about it is dynamic. Everything is changing. So, okay, I want to show you guys. I'm sorry, man. I get carried away sometimes just thinking about how awesome Amazon is because honestly, this whole Amazon thing has changed our lives. Like our entire business and our lives are built around Amazon. So I get excited about it, man.
I hear you. And I like the enthusiasm.
For sure. I know you guys at Jungle Scout get excited too. Like that's the thing is.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's not just from your guys' business. Like you get to see this type of thing happen with hundreds and thousands of businesses. Like it's crazy that you guys have helped so many people. Like I was looking at some of your guys' stats. We were talking about it before we jumped on. Just the amount of people that you guys have helped are incredible, Greg.
Thank you, Dan. We enjoy doing it, just like I can tell you do.
For sure, brother. So, all right, I want to continue on down the path, and I want to show you guys how you can find these wholesale accounts. And hopefully at the end of this, you can start doing it yourself and be on your way to developing a wholesale business. So the first thing you need to know is what you're actually looking for, what criteria to look at in a product to determine if it's viable, right? The best way to source for potential wholesale accounts is by looking on Amazon because it has all the data you actually need. The three primary factors that we look for are, number one, that the product is not sold by Amazon. We don't want to be competing with Amazon on products because they don't really play nice. I mean, that's the thing is Amazon is the biggest, baddest competitor in the game. I don't really need to mess with them, right? And here's the thing is there's so many opportunities where they're not on the listing that you just don't have to do it. It's like you don't have to be like, well, this product would be great. Sure, it would be great, but it doesn't change the fact of there's thousands and thousands and thousands of other great products.
Hey, Dan, just to clarify something real quick, because I know I get this question a lot is, people ask as far as like private label products, do you want to compete against Amazon? And I always say like, yeah, that's absolutely fine. Like their listings typically suck. But with wholesale, when you're competing for the buy box, it's a different ballgame. And I agree with Dan here because Amazon does not play by the same rules as everyone else as far as sharing the buy box goes. Is that correct?
Exactly. And I mean, that's the thing is, and for what it's worth, your advice on private labeling a product that the Amazon carries is 100% right. Like here's the thing is Amazon's not the best representative for brands. They're just a retailer, right? They provide an amazing marketplace, but as far as doing doing the things that make your brand, there's a reason that you guys are able to kick Amazon's butt. And it's because they don't optimize their products. They don't optimize their brands and things like that. So again, and we've in our portfolio of products that we work with and partnerships we've made, a lot of those products used to be represented by Amazon. They used to have Amazon as a seller, and they've moved over to third-party sellers because Amazon wasn't giving them the representation that they wanted. Amazon wasn't helping optimize their products, and there was a lot of holes. So again, I guess but you don't. You're right. You don't want to be on the same listing as them. You don't want to be trying to share the buy box with them. So
I've actually even seen that with some like the Fortune 500 brands, Dan, that they no longer are selling to Amazon. A lot of the Fortune 500 guys are just their own FBA seller. But it's pretty interesting that like I agree with you. I think the brands are getting like fed up with having Amazon be the one to create their listings and optimize their listings and that because they do a really poor job at it.
But it's that's going to continue to happen, right? Like Amazon's not getting any better at it. In fact, they don't want to be better at it. It's more profitable for Amazon to let you sell a product than it is for them to sell it. Like because they get down, they fight with Walmart. Like Amazon's margins as a retailer are garbage. They make so much more money if I'm selling a product. So as long as
a lot of people don't realize that either. Like their 15% commission on the FBA products is typically more profitable for them than them selling it themselves. Like over the years, they've trended more towards a marketplace and less so towards a retailer, which I think is pretty cool for us, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's a great opportunity. And that's the thing is these brands are going to continue to do this. These brands are going to continue to look for third-party sellers to do that because Amazon's not giving them the service they need. Or if they are, they get charged a fortune for it. Like if a company wants to advertise its products or use Amazon to advertise Amazon sponsored ads to advertise its product through Amazon, it's awful. Like they use the AMG. Have you ever used the Amazon marketing group thing?
AMS or the AMG?
It's called Amazon Marketing Group, I think.
No, I've never used them.
It's a program that brands can enroll in or products can enroll in, and it's like guaranteed $25,000 in spend, and they work with you on sponsored ad optimization.
Okay.
So it's super expensive. First off, it's super expensive. But secondly, like the results aren't necessarily that amazing. And imagine that, like if it's just, they have to be out of pocket. Like they don't really get to control much of that cost. Like it's just a nightmare for them. Right. So working with a third-party seller is a lot easier because, with working with that third-party seller, they have direct contact. Like whenever they're working with Amazon, they don't have direct contact with the brand. Like, they have a contact with a rep at Amazon who's working with hundreds of different brands. Like they don't have contact with a person that they can actually get to know and can teach them about the Amazon platform.
Right.
The second factor that we determine or that we use is we want a minimum of 3 sellers. Now, what this rule is, it's to help us eliminate private label brands from our searches. So, well, to make this perfectly clear, we're not looking to sell private label products because those products were created with the intention of being with a person that created them, of being the retailer, right? Like people are building these products to retail them. They're not building these products to be a manufacturer, and that's not their primary goal. So, in that regard, I don't necessarily feel like I can help them as much. Because a lot of the stuff that we do for these brands, you guys are already doing for your products, and that's why you're able to do these types of things for brands. So, and then the last criteria is that we can sell it a lot. We love to sell products. We love products with big volume, and there's a reason because number one is it makes it worth our time. But the second part of this is that volume helps us drive down costs. Like it makes shipping cheaper. It makes everything that you actually do in business, processing, any of those kinds of things, it makes cheaper. So, that's what we're looking for is we're looking for high volume products with a minimum of 3 sellers and are not sold by Amazon. So the next thing that we look for is how many times can we sell this product in a given month, right? So sales per month, how we determine it is sales per month according to Jungle Scout. So we just take that where we went on one of the previous slides where I showed you the live example of Dominique's. That information, that's what we're looking for is how many times we can sell that per month divided by the buy box eligible sellers plus yourself. Now, what we consider to be buy box eligible is within 2%. Now that can vary. That's not a hard and fast rule, but for the most part, if you look at sellers priced within 2%, it is almost always right that they're going to be splitting some amount of the sales, right? Now, if you're closer to zero, if you're closer to even or the lowest price, you're going to get more sales. But our rule is what we try to look for is sellers priced within 2% of the buy box. And then you add yourself because you're going to be taking some of that equity. So what that means is if you take the number of buy box eligible sellers, add yourself, you can know approximately how many times you're going to sell a given product. So we're actually going to
I'm just going to clarify something. Oh, you're going to do it live real quick? While you switch over, I'll help clarify that for people. Because like sometimes on listings, you'll see like 10 sellers, right? Let's sell this product, say this product's in the buy box for $10. Sometimes they're like 5 of the 10 sellers, they might be priced at like $20, right? Whereas the bottom 5 sellers are priced between $10 and $10.20. So those 5 sellers would all be rotating through the buy box. This is what Dan's saying. Whereas the other 5 sellers, they're never going to win the buy box at like $20. So you don't really need to take them into account when you're figuring out like how many units you think you'll be able to get to sell out of that.
For sure. I mean, that's exactly it. So for this one, I'm going to use the Jungle Scout web app. And again, this is just an amazing tool for finding, for digging out products. Like if you guys aren't using it, I would definitely suggest using it. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to click on the USA Marketplace. That's where I'm looking primarily. The next part is, I do want to say that it's important that, the strategies that we teach definitely work on other marketplaces. Like what we teach is pretty timeless. Like it's just good business. We teach how to develop great relationships with these brands. And that works. That works with anybody you want to do business with. If you go in with a mentality, if you want to help them and you want to provide value, people typically want to work with you. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to set the marketplace. Then we're going to pick our category. I pick pet supplies. I like pet supplies as a category. I always think it's fun, and I get to see some cool stuff. And usually when I'm actually scouting through there, I get to see some cool things I could buy for my dog. And she's the one that really wins when I scout and pet supplies. So the next thing I'm going to do is price. Like you can set price to whatever you want, right? I mean, whatever works in your business. For us, like I'm just going to use a blanket number of $20 because that's pretty close to what we like to see is $20 and up. Then the next thing I'm going to do is estimated sales. And like we said earlier, we want products that sell really well. I mean, that's our goal. We want products that have a lot of volume. So minimum, I want to see products with 100 sales per month. And then again, the number of sellers is an important thing to us. So we're going to get the number of sellers, set that at a minimum of 3, and that's just so we can avoid seeing all the private label products. And then don't care about the size. That doesn't matter at all to me. But I do care about how this product's being sold and who it's written by. Remember, one of our rules was we don't want to look at products that are sold by Amazon specifically. So we want to look at products that are either fulfilled by Amazon or fulfilled by merchant. And then we're going to search. And wow, that's what I'm saying. Greg, this is exactly what I'm talking about right here. Let's look at this title. If you were now, you guys have obviously helped a lot of private label sellers. Would this be a title you would suggest to a private label seller?
Absolutely not. So of course, like hardly are pretty much no keywords in there unless you're already I guess that's the brand, Grizzly Salmon Oil. Unless you're already familiar with that brand, there's pretty much no keywords in there. Yeah, just, way too short. Overall, just terrible. And it's in quotes. What's up with that?
I mean, who are they quoting? Like, who are they quoting? And again, let's look at the pictures.
One picture, right.
At least they put bullets up. I mean, that is something. They tried with the bullets.
Right.
And then we'll see. They did put a description. I don't know how great that description is.
Maybe decent description, but yeah, lots of room for improvement, right? You can put, a bunch of really high quality photos on there. You can make, even if the only thing you do is just made that title better, I bet it would get so much more traffic.
Exactly. Now let's look at what this product's actually doing. This product sells 407 times per month. To me, that's insane. Like that the product is selling that well. And it's not optimized at all. Like this product's awesome. So let's look at how. Let's look at how many people are competing for this buy box. So again, the buy box would be whenever we push add to cart, whose gets added. And right now it's crazy closeout deals. Right, that's the guy whose product's getting added. And what we're wanting to see is how many of these sellers are competitive. Right. So it's $39.99 is the buy box price. What is $39.99 times 1.02? $40.78 or 79 cents if we round it up. So there's no other sellers in that range. So right now, if we were able to go establish a relationship with this brand and start carrying this product, we would be splitting approximately 407 sales with one other seller. Now, imagine selling that. You could sell this product. This is a product you could be online within 2 weeks. Like you could be. Imagine this product's definitely made in America. a domestic product. So you could have this product into Amazon and ready to go within 2 weeks time from right now.
So just to say this in another way for everyone who's maybe like has questions right now, what Dan's talking about here is you would establish a relationship with this company. I guess it's a Grizzly Pet Products, right? So you'd reach out to them. You would say, hey, like I am a seller. I would like to carry your product. You would open up like a wholesale account with them. They probably have a minimum order quantity of like a few $100. So you have to order, like 30 of these or 50 of these or whatever the minimum order quantity is. Then you would send them into Amazon. This listing's already created. So then you list them on this listing, and then essentially you'd be rotating through the buy box with one other seller. And then one of the other important parts I just want to recap that Dan's talking about here is that, if this company were to say like, whoa, we're not really looking for any more, sellers of this particular product anymore, you'd say, well, wait, I'm an expert at Amazon. Your Amazon listing's terrible. With a little bit of help from me, I can make that way better. And then when Dan says like you can get an exclusive with them, then maybe after establishing the relationship, or maybe even right off the bat, you could say, hey, and if you're willing to make me the exclusive distributor on Amazon for this product, I'll even take a whole bunch of new pictures myself, and I'll do this to help your listing. So I'm gonna improve your listing for you at no cost to you if you just will make me the exclusive distributor on Amazon for your product. And a lot of the companies, if you find the right person to talk to and pitch it correctly, will let you do that.
For sure. And here's the thing. You don't, I mentioned this earlier. When you get really good at this, getting exclusives is real easy. Maybe that's something, whenever you first start out, that's probably something you don't want to go for. But let's look and see how profitable this product would be if you didn't have an exclusive, right? Like, let's just say you called them up and they said no, and you use Greg, the strategy that Greg mentioned. And that's exactly what we would do. It's exactly what we would do. We would talk to them about the shortcomings that their product had. And it's like, if you can approve us as a seller, we would be happy to fix these for you. And then over time, you're going to build an incredible relationship with them because their other sellers aren't helping them. That's the thing, is you're going to be the one talking to them. You're going to be the one sharing strategy and coming up with ways to help this product sell better. And they're going to want to work with you more over time, right? So let's look and see what kind of money you could actually generate with one product like this. So let's assume that this product has a standard 50% discount, right? So $39.99 means that you could expect to pay probably around $20 for this product. That may be right, wrong, but as an estimate, that would be where we would start. We would estimate that we would pay about $20 for this product, right? If we were able to sell this product 200 times a month, which would be splitting sales with the other seller, we could do $39.99 times 0.15 or 0.15, which is 15%. That's that we'd already talked about that. That's something that we could expect, right? That's not an unheard of profit amount. So we would make $6 a unit on this product. Multiply that times 200, and that's an income of almost $1,200 a month. Like, it just one product, right? That's one product where we didn't have to create a listing. All we had to do was contact a manufacturer and get them to ship that product to Amazon for us, right?
And those are probably pretty conservative profit margins too, because I imagine like something like this that's kind of like supplement-esque. There's probably pretty high margins on it, so it could even be better than that.
Sure,
but absolutely. Yeah, I think that was a pretty conservative amount, which is cool.
Yep, and that's what we're talking about. Wholesale is an incredibly easy process. It's find listings that are doing well where you can add value. And that's the thing, is all the private label sellers understand that. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to find another cool product. This is how easy it is. This is not scripted, nothing like that. It's just super easy. Wow, that one, Bill Jack. That sounds like an awesome name, right? On Bully Sticks. Here we go. Okay, so these are dog treats, $33.99. Look at the sales rank, $3,500 and Pet Supplies. Let's see what that actually means. That product is selling estimated 539 times a month. Like, that's insane, right? So $33.99 is the price. It looks like currently 3 sellers are splitting the buy box. So if we included ourselves, that would be 4 sellers. So 540 sales divided by 4 means that we could sell this product approximately 135 times a month. Now, same thing, we'll use the same type of guess as far as profit margin with 15%. And multiplied by, what was it, 140?
145 or something, yeah.
Yeah. So again, this product, that's not a massive amount of money, but that's very little work to make $750 a month. Like that's the beauty of wholesale is you can get online so quickly, and a lot of people aren't doing this thing. They're not trying to create value for brands. They're not focused on developing real relationships with brands. So they need these types of skills. I mean, let's look at this listing. Let's see if this could be improved. First off, they're not using all the quantity of pictures. I mean, that's one immediate thing you could do to make this listing better, right? Now this is better than the other one. Like the other one we saw was atrocious.
Still pretty bad, right?
It's still bad.
You could put a whole bunch more keywords in there: dog snacks, food, treats, or like says that, all of that kind of stuff, right?
For sure. And let's look at the bullets. I mean, it does have bullets, which is a step up versus the one we've seen again. One of these bullets says pack of 3. Like, come on, guys. Like, that's never a good bullet. Never a good bullet to say pack of 3. And then again, the description, just it looks like a 2-sentence, maybe 1 sentence, one really long sentence.
One run-on sentence.
Yeah. One really long run-on sentence. And this product's selling 540 times a month. Like, again, this could be optimized. It could do much better. And you could do it like it. You could become an authorized seller of this product in no time. Like, it's just, to me, it boggles my mind how many bad listings there are on Amazon. Again, let's do another one. Again, you saw it. All we're doing is clicking with that set of filters from the Jungle Scout web app. If you guys aren't using the Jungle Scout web app, you're crazy. Like that's look at this. Here's another thing. There's 2,188 products that fit these guidelines. Like, again,
yeah, that's just one category too, right? Just pet supplies.
Right. That's crazy. So look, 4-pack of chicken treats. That sounds pretty cool, right? But
sure. Yum.
But I mean, that title leaves a bit to be desired. Like, I don't know. I assume that's for a dog. You would think that's for a dog, but who knows, right? Again, pictures not exciting. Bullets, better, but not great. At least it's not a run-on sentence.
there's a one period in there.
Yeah. So, let's look at this one. So 23, we'll go with 23.18 as our bottom price, and we'll just see what kind of money we could generate from this if we were to become an authorized seller. So 23.18 times 1.02 means 23.64. So we're looking for, it looks like 1, 2, and the guy has the buy box is 3. So we would make the 4th competitive seller. So let's look at this. 452 sales divided by 4 sellers. So 452 divided by 4 is 113. Now I'm going to inevitably forget that number, but 23.18.
I'll help you on this one.
All right. I got my man Greg is back up here. Times 0.15. Now what are we multiplying that by, Greg?
113.
Yes. Well, that wasn't it. It was 113. Greg did his part right, and here I am. It's 23.18 times 0.15 times 113. $392.90. It's like this product could generate $392.90 profit per month before you consider the fact that you could make it way better, right? There's no question. Greg, if I told you, let's say that I am the company Everlasting, though I'm pretty sure that the company is actually named Starmark.
Besides the point.
That's beside the point. That's just another error that we can laugh about here. But if I told you, like, hey, Greg, I own Starmark, and I would love for you to represent my products on Amazon, do you think you could make this better?
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone could, or everyone watching this right now could. Obviously, Everlast or Star Mark, they don't quite understand it, but yeah, it's like within like an hour's worth of work, I can make that really good.
Exactly. And that's the thing is, here's the thing. One Way Pets, Monster Pet, I hope none of these people are watching. They're not doing this brand any service. All they're doing is they're buying and selling this product and just treating it like just a profit center. They're not treating it like a partner. And that's the difference is if you're able to use the expertise that you've built over time and your people have built over time to enhance this product, you're acting like a true partner and they'll want to work with you. Like they actually want to work with people who do this kind of thing. So look at another example. All right. Best bully sticks. Now that looks like a private label product. And they've tricked us. They've listed it a couple times. So we'll go on down. We'll find us another one. We'll find one more, and then we'll move. Then we'll move along. So I know Kirkland Signature. That's a Costco brand. So we'll go with this one, and I'll get me a backup just in case of this guy.
Dan, do you find that like the smaller brands are more willing to work with you? For example, like a lot of these, like, they're not private label brands, but other just smaller brands as opposed to like the 800-pound gorillas. Are they less likely to work with Amazon sellers?
For sure. And that's, our bread and butter, honestly, is the small to mid-sized company.
Okay.
And it's because it
makes sense.
The changes that you make, like here's the thing. Let's say that I contact Nike and I say, hey, Nike, I can make some of the changes on your Amazon listings and we can sell an extra couple $1 million a year. What does that matter to Nike? Like,
right. And it would probably be like really hard to like even get in touch with the right person, right? Or they'd be like, oh, but then it would have to be approved by this department or whatever.
For sure. But here's the thing. If I contact a Daptil, I've never heard of a Daptil. It's much more likely that if I could improve their sales drastically, that's going to mean a lot more for their business. Likewise, this brand probably needs more exposure. So if I make those improvements to this brand, like I said earlier, a lot of 35-40% of product searches are starting on Amazon. So that may mean that this product can now get into more retail locations because retailers are looking for the product on Amazon as well, right? So like that's one of the things that people really should keep in mind is whenever you make these types of changes to an Amazon listing, it's not just helping their Amazon sales. It's helping their brick and mortar sales. Because brick and mortar, that's what mom and pop stores do. Like, if you're a veterinarian, how are you going to hear about a Daptil? One of the things you could do is you could be looking for collars for dogs and you could read reviews, right? So that makes this space incredibly important to these brands. And like when you frame it to them in that capacity, when you frame it to them and say, how does the majority of vets find your product? I mean, Amazon is a great way. And
right.
That's another reason that they'll want to work with you. So now this one is a bit trickier. For what it's worth, this product seems amazing, but it's a bit trickier because the buy box price is not an FBA price. So we typically try to ignore that. That just means that usually we could price above that and still get the buy box. Like I would imagine that you could come in at $62.99 or $63.99 and you would take the buy box here if you were an FBA seller. Or Pet Paradise Inc. could lower his price by a couple bucks and get the buy box. But we'll just go off the $61.99 box or price in the buy box right now for our estimates and things like that. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to see how many sales it is. 144 sales per month. So I promise I'm going to remember that one this time. All right, so $61.99 times 0.15 is $9.28. And we're going to we would theoretically be splitting the sale. Here, let me explain something first before we get in here. Okay, so with these non-FBA sellers, with this guy, there's a reason he doesn't have the buy box. He's not buy box eligible. Like until he has enough sales that he becomes buy box eligible, he's not going to be selling this product in the buy box. So we don't necessarily have to worry about him. Right now, the only person I would concern myself with is Monster Pets. That's who I would expect to split sales with. So what was it?
115 or so. So yeah, you get 113. Say 60 sales.
Right. Exactly. So it's, 60 sales times right. Almost $600 a month. Like, think about it. Like, we've looked at three different products, and one of them was over $1,000 a month. One of them, we've added, like, in theory, we've added about $2,000 a month in net income and net profit to our business with just this simple search. Like, and that's what we find all the time. Like, that's the thing about this is Amazon's marketplace is so big that this opportunity exists everywhere. And then Jungle Scout, like, the software just makes it so easy to find this kind of stuff. Like, I can go do the exact same thing, and we'll just look and see how many results you see, right? Like, that's another important measure. And lawn and patio, 2,220 results that fit those guidelines. Like, you could adjust this and change that. Like, there's so many different factors here. There's just so many products and opportunities that it's very easy to find things. And like we said earlier with Cheryl and Emmerich, they both have products, just, one account that they over $100,000 a year in profit. So you don't have to find a ton of these. Like, we found three right there, 3 products. Now, those companies probably carry other products. So, realistically, one of those accounts could produce $10,000 or $15,000 a month in profit. Like, if they carry other products, right?
You can see where that's wouldn't be that difficult to achieve, right? 100K a year in profit. It's only, let's say, $8,000 a month. That's only 16 products that are making $500, or let's just say 25 products because some of them flop. It's like one account, you could probably easily get 25 products out of it, right?
Exactly. I mean, that's the thing. It's not very hard to do. It's not very hard to make a substantial amount of money because Amazon's so powerful and you have the analytics to find these products. Like, you have the ability to find these products with this type of software. So it's, once you understand the process and you can do it, it's a really easy thing to do. So I'm going to pull this back, and I want to recap and talk about just the steps of wholesale. So again, the 3 steps for wholesale is, number 1, identify a product opportunity on Amazon. And like we've seen here in the live portion, that was incredibly easy, right? It was literally, 4 clicks of a button, and we found 2,200 opportunities in one category. Like, that, to me, that's insane. So it's identifying products is obviously incredibly easy. Reach out to brands to become an authorized Amazon seller of their products. Greg told the perfect way to do this. What you do if you want to reach out to these brands is you contact the brand and you tell them how you can help them. I'm a skilled Amazon seller, and my specialty is optimizing products. And we've seen the following things with your product. Like, that's a really easy conversation to have, right? Like, you can tell them the various things that are wrong with the product. All you have to do is look at it. You can see we can make these types of improvements, and you could expect to see this type of growth with your product. It's super easy. Like, it's not, that's, again, not a hard thing to do. And then the last thing is buy those products and resell them for a profit. So it's to get started with wholesale. You're not doing a lot of stuff. It's just identifying a product, reaching out to a brand, and then buying and selling it. So, to me, it's crazy. It's the simplest business model I've ever seen, to be honest with you. So I want to wrap up with just a couple of questions, and hopefully this will help this resonate with people. Like, do you want to double the value of your business? Do you want to add more passive income and assets to your business? And I think obviously the answer is yes. Like, everybody wants to do that, right? Everybody wants to double their business. There may be the guy in the crowd that's like, no, man, I actually want to shrink my business for whatever reason. And, he has that. God bless him. I mean, that's the thing is he can do that. But the vast majority of us want to grow our businesses. And this is a way. Like, I'm not saying don't do private label. Do private label. It's so easy to do this as well. It's so easy, and you can add a massive amount of value to your business.
Yeah, I guess none of them are mutually exclusive, right? I mean, you can do retail arbitrage and wholesale and private label and, whatever else. You don't necessarily have to pick just one, right?
Right. I mean, that's the thing but I mean, particularly with these, right? It's not hard. It's not hard to add on. You're using the same type of tools. You're using the same strategy. And the fact of the matter is, if you're using the strategies for private label, you're already good at this stuff. You're already doing the things that these brands need. Like you saw it, Poor Grizzly Salmon Oil. Like, They're not. They need somebody to come in and at least remove the quotations from their title, right? But if nothing else, but that's what I'm saying. These companies need that type of help. They need people who understand an Amazon listing. They need people who understand the value of providing good photos. But let me tell you a cool secret. Like, you're probably looking at this and you're like, man, I want to take a bunch of photos for another company. You don't have to most of the time. All we do, the first thing we do is whenever we want new photos or something like that, is we ask them for it because they always have it on hand. Just none of the people are doing that. None of the people that are selling those products are taking the time to ask them for better pictures. None of the people are taking the time to ask them for action shots. None of the people are asking them for better copy. Like, if you ask, you don't even have to do a lot of this work. Like, it's so rare. I'm pretty sure that we've done this with almost every brand that we carry, right? Like, we've made these same types of improvements. I don't think I'm pretty sure we've done like 3 pictures ever. And you just don't have to, like, because they have this type of stuff. You just, that's the point, is they need somebody that understands Amazon and can put it on there. So here's the thing about this. Like, you guys have all the tools to do this. Like, anybody watching this has the tools to do it. They have they have the information in this webinar. They have that step-by-step process. We did it live. Like, you guys all have Jungle Scout software. Take off, run with it. And if you're interested in learning more, we have lots of free content over here on our website. It's thewholesaleformula.com.
All right, Dan. Thank you very much for all that valuable information. Much appreciated. Nice, thorough webinar. I appreciate the examples you've given. One question I think the audience has right now is, obviously once you establish those relationships with the whole, or once you find the products and establish those relationships, the rest of this is pretty easy, right? Do you have any tips for the audience about tips, tricks, hacks, whatever else, for either finding good contact info for these wholesalers, or just tips to help you establish a relationship? I know you've done that with a bunch of people now, so I'm sure you have some goods.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I'd love to share this kind of stuff. This is because this is like the nitty gritty, right? And it's all the searching we do for these brands. We just do it on Google. Like, we just Google the company name or the product name, and then we'll go to that company's website. Do you want me to do one live?
I think we probably got that. So, we just search Grizzly fish oil, whatever. You can obviously find their website from there. You'd find their contact info. Do you have any tips for when you reach out to them that maybe helps increase your chance that they'll sell their product to you?
Sure. Here's the thing is, when we reach out to these types of companies, we typically email them first. But here's the thing is, some companies will say yes to just the email, right? They'll get that email and they'll just say yes, and you're able to take off from there. Some companies, they may tell you no, and you may have to call them. And that's when you're going to have that discussion of the types of value that you can bring to them. And what we like to focus on is why they need it. Why that value is necessary to them right now. And if you can get them, the most powerful thing is, honestly, and this is the biggest tip, is if you can get them to look at their Amazon listing and walk through that with you and compare it to one of their competitors, they see how awful they look. They see how poorly they're being marketed, and they will instantaneously want to work with you.
That's a really good point. So if they don't answer your email or follow up with you or whatever, you can always try to get on the phone, and you can just be like, hey, let me give you 10 minutes of my time free to help you improve your Amazon listing. You can probably get someone to hop on the phone for something like that. Then you're right. If you walk them through it, you're like, this is terrible. You could double your sales. Let me help you. Let's open a contract.
Exactly.
I can see where that would work. I don't see why it wouldn't.
That's the thing is, whenever we reach out, it's like, you don't even have to do it from a high pressure perspective. It doesn't have to be like a sales call. It's just, you call them and you say, we've noticed some of the problems that your Amazon listing have. We'd love to share that with you. And if you want to work with us afterwards, great. And if not, share it with the sellers that you're already working with. And every time they're going to want to work with you. If they take the time to go through that call and they see what their current sellers are not doing, they will 100% want to work with you.
Right. What are they also going to do? Really go reach out to the other sellers and try to get them to do that, even though they might not know how to, or
exactly.
At that point, they're going to work with you, right?
That's the thing is, they've already not been doing it, and you're providing that free value. So they will want to work with you. It's the same, people want to work with people who want to help them.
Yeah.
And I think you guys know that. How much does the free stuff that you guys do? Like, you guys do
Right.
so much free stuff. It's crazy. And it's because you want to help people. And then that makes people want to work with you guys. That gets them used to it, right?
Same thing, right?
Exactly, man.
Cool. Dan, this has been an awesome hour. I know everyone watching this really appreciates it. I appreciate it as well. Guys, if you want to find out more about Dan and the Wholesale Formula, it's just thewholesaleformula.com. He has lots of great free content. They also do an educational course, which I know is packed with really high value stuff. So check it out if you'd like to do so. And Dan, thanks again. It's been an awesome hour with you.
Thanks again, brother. I appreciate it.